let's talk a little bit about what is going on with these uprisings. You have been a force of nature on your show, online, I mean, on Instagram. I mean, I'm like sharing your stuff constantly. I know that sounds silly, but after the conversation about Zoomers, that can be very powerful in educating people that are not, you know, I listen to you, I watch you, I share it with my audience, which is a different audience. And they learn from me by learning through you. So have you seen this time around, like, what is it about this uprising that's getting people to this moment of finally, you know, understanding in a little bit of a different way, maybe, the police brutality and the institutional and structural racism of this country?
I think the police state fully underestimated, or actually, no, they overestimated their goodwill with the general population. That's one. Two, I think COVID-19 actually is exacerbating it, making people, you know, people are desperate. People are furious. People are making a conscious decision that, yeah, I could possibly get COVID-19 and die, but our system is so broken that I'm in a position where I have to go out here and protest because of COVID-19, because I'm an essential worker or because I'm unemployed. So I think those two things combined with the third thing, which was the brutal way that George Floyd was killed in front of everybody. I don't know who I was listening to, but they said something about how sanitized bullet wounds are unless you're right there and can see the damage it does to a body. And so if we see a shooting, we really don't see the destruction of the body. And so, but when people saw George Floyd, they saw the life get crushed out of him. And that was brutal. That was brutality on a level that I think most people aren't used to seeing. So I think all those things combined really have created an uprising. And I think the police state and the powers that be, the ruling elite, they finally realized, okay, if we keep sending police out here to crack people's skulls, more people are going to keep coming out. And that's what they did wrong for 2 weeks. They kept coming out with the full force of the police state. And people started seeing, they're like, are you serious now? Are you really beating up a 75? Are you cracking the skull of a 75-year-old man in Buffalo? Are you beating up this middle-aged, middle-income white woman with her pink bicycle helmet in Seattle? Are you really doing these things for the world to see? And I think the technology obviously allows us, the technology and the reach. I'm sorry to give you a long answer, but it was a great question.
No, this is why we have you on. Go ahead.
The technology as well as the reach, like there's no single individual that's like so important in this. You know, media has been democratized, leadership has been democratized, and so therefore the revolution has been democratized. And so whereas I have enough reach to reach a few million, you know, with constant sharing and whatnot, you know, there's like 20 people like me, 30 people like me. And so we're able to honestly affect the public opinion because we have the technology, we have the reach, and leadership is democratized. There's no single leader. So that, I think that's the difference.
You know, and the other thing, like, I was thinking about this the other day. In the era of before Zoom interviews, before YouTube, and you know, I'm old enough to remember when we didn't have YouTube. It was competitive. Like, this wouldn't happen. You have a show, I have a show. We wouldn't go on each other's shows. We'd be on different networks. It just wasn't a thing. And we amplify each other's voices. And it's, like I said, like your message can come to my audience and vice versa, right. In a way that I think we don't really think enough about in terms of the democratization of these messages.
Yeah, no, you know, and I haven't really thought about it so much in terms of this media space. But you're right. Early on, it was very territorial. It was, the barrier of entry was really high. It used to cost a lot of money to be able to stream. Now it's just open up your laptop and go. But I really do love the solidarity and the camaraderie. We all finally realized that there's enough in the revolutionary pie, so to speak, that we, you know, if we don't have any superstars on our side, that's actually a great thing. If we have like 1,500 Ben Dixons and 1,500 Nomikis, then we're actually doing something meaningful for the revolution. So we all share each other's stuff, so long as, you know, we all have that kind of same urgency of the revolution or the uprising or whatever we're calling it.
Yeah. Okay, so you've been very vocal about not just defunding the police, but eliminating the police state. Yeah. What got you to this point of clarity? Have you always had these positions, or is it something that kind of grew over time?
I have to admit, it's something that grew over time. I think what actually got me all the way there was the not just the hypocrisy, but the propaganda, right? So my big thing is like when I see disingenuous actors, I get pissed off as if they stole money from me, right? Mm-hmm. When I see somebody arguing in bad faith, I really, that causes a visceral reaction to me. And so when I start seeing people say that our communities won't be safe if the police aren't there, I was like, hold on, wait a minute. That's not how it works. Like, I've lived in really poor neighborhoods before, and I've lived in middle income neighborhoods before. And the only difference was I had fewer police in my middle income neighborhood, and I had more resources in my middle income neighborhood. And so when I start seeing that, I'm like, oh, you bastards are out here lying. You know, you're just straight up fear mongering. And so my whole thing was, okay, if this is how they're going to position their argument, then it's necessary for us to counterbalance the argument, right? So if your argument, Nancy Pelosi, is we're going to bring the police unions to the table, then the counterbalance has to be the abolish movement, right? Otherwise, we don't have a balanced conversation. You can't have the extreme from the right and not have the extreme from the left and have a balanced conversation. So for me, it really was about bringing the counterbalance to the propaganda that is being forwarded by the ruling elite.
No, that's very powerful. And it's something, I mean, I think we know what the Democrats' game is. We're sitting here looking at Joe Biden. As of today, Sunday, June 21st, Joe Biden has not picked his vice presidential pick. Amy Klobuchar came out a couple of days ago and said that she was removing herself from the list because she thinks that a woman of color should be represented in a weird way. So she sort of shivved Elizabeth Warren, who's in the fight. But with that being said, the two women as of yesterday that were put out both have, very strong alliances with the police state, whether as a former police chief or a prosecutor who sided with the police. Can you just give us the breakdown of why this is problematic?
So they got me. I'm going to be honest with you. I didn't know anything about Val Demings. The first thing I did was to Google her and I searched her on Twitter and I saw some videos of her giving compelling speeches. And I'm like, oh, wow, I actually love her so far. 2 seconds later, somebody sent me the information that she was a damn police chief. And I'm like, okay, that was the fastest relationship ever, right? Because how could you, in an era where we are saying defund the police, bring us someone who is literally a cop, right? You have the figurative cop in Kamala Harris, right? And then you have the literal cop in Val Demings. And the thing is like, they're trying to wrap it in identity, right? And I honestly, like, Val Demings, to me, she does remind me of like a sister I would have gone to church with. You know what I mean? She has like strong Black cultural vibes, far more than Kamala Harris. Kamala looks like she's trying to learn how to be Black. Val is like, no, I'm authentically Black, but she's also authentically a cop. So I think the Democratic Party has really missed the ball on this one. And I'm trying to decide, like, if it really is a choice between two cops, which cop is a lesser evil. And honestly, I don't know if either one is a lesser evil. I just know K-Hive is a greater evil. So I don't know. I still might throw my weight behind Val Demings just to stick it to K-Hive. I'm joking.
Thank you for watching and listening to the Nomiki Show. Make sure to click like and subscribe on YouTube and share with everybody on social media. And of course, if you're not a patron already, please join us on patreon.com/The Nomiki Show for as low as $5 a month. That money makes a huge difference. We don't have the corporate money coming in. We're not cable news that's raking in the dough from advertisers right now as everybody's sitting at home and watching. It is really you guys who are keeping us together. So please consider being a patron. And for those of you who have already, we are incredibly grateful to you.